Hey guys, big nerfs just got announced to go live tomorrow. They're going to completely change the game. Hearthstone will never be the same. But seriously though, a lot of decks are been just, in my opinion, deleted, gone from the game. If you like them, they're worthless. Sorry, but that is what the devs have called for. It's nerfs that give new opportunities, but also certain archetypes will probably be completely dead. These nerfs are humongous. They're game changing. So many decks that are currently playing will never be played again. First one is Incanter's Flow from 2 to 3 mana. Reduce the cost of your spells or deck by 1. This nerf is huge. Mage can't go Incanters on 2. It can't go Incanters into Incanters. The Incanters is slow. And by the time you want to go Incanters, another subtle thing is often you'd go Incanters and Arcane Intellect. Can't do that anymore. Often, one of the things is now with Incanters at 3 mana, if I'm putting your pressure on, you either can say, oh, do I want to take 8 damage here, or do I want to play Incanter's Flow? And you're in a tough situation. You do that, I put on more pressure. I honestly think this will completely kill the class of Mage, but Mage still does some things very, very well, so I don't think Mage will go away completely. It might go away for a while. The meta might evolve, and then maybe, because Mage has some really positive matchups that no other deck has, and that's why I don't think Mage will die completely, but I think Mage for a little while will probably be dead. It's just going to get too annihilated by aggro, because of this change, in my opinion, and the decks that it beat before that were more slow, it might not be able to race as well, because the Incanters, not only are you losing 1 mana this turn, but if you don't get down 2, the next card you draw, so you could potentially, it's kind of a 2 mana nerf, which in a high tempo, fast paced matchup is a game like that. It's huge. Il'gynoth, going from a 4 mana 2/6 to a 6 mana 4/8. This card is a combo card, is unplayable now. The OTK/DH, as it is now, is completely dead. Yeah, you can get it discounted to 5 and get your Morgs, and maybe you can get the lethal. Oh no, yes, but it doesn't matter. Like the consistency. Now most OTK games, you're playing from behind. You're kind of fighting for board. You have to use some of these resources and have just enough to do the OTK. At 6 mana, the more combo, I will never work again. Consistently enough. Now, maybe somebody can play it and they can get the see. You can still get a lethal with OTK Demon Hunter, but the deck is dead. Now, this card could still be used in a more tempo based. It's a big stat line increase, and now this card as a minion actually can be very powerful. You just tempo it out. It is at 6 mana, but it can do a lot of damage. You have an Eldrazi Ward Blades on. You can do a lot of damage with more kind of a different style. It's very good with Skull. That being said, as the OTK, the Quest OTK, the Skull OTK, completely dead. I could see this card never seeing play ever again. This is a huge nerf, and they basically deleted this deck. So if you hate this deck, be happy. If you like this deck, sorry, they don't care about you. It is what it is. Next we got Dark Lair. Dark Lair going from 2 to 3 mana. So this, for the combo variant, makes the combo on consistently probably 1 turn slower on average. It's going to be harder for them to go off. Though sometimes if you get the Dark Lair from Stealer's Souls, it might not even matter because you actually want to take more damage. So it's not even completely a nerf, and it gets more stats. So I think this is going to be a lot more hurtful to the Zoo variants that like tempoing out the Dark Lair Zone 1 or going 2 guide into Dark Lair. It's going to be a lot slower and less consistent. It's going to be harder to pop off on the same turns. You're going to have to wait a turn later. Often you're going to be dead by then. But as a minion, it increased the mana, but the stat line increased. But the combo element is about a turn slower, which will matter. That being said, I still think the combo variant of Warlock will be just fine. Still very unplayable for the average person, but I think still absolutely broken for the absolute elite players. I think the Zoo version is going to struggle a lot more from this nerf. They're not going to be able to get the Dark Lair stuff going as fast. They're not going to be able to go coin 2/5 into Dark Lair. a lot of these fancy plays just aren't going to work anymore with Dark Lair as consistently. So, Battleground Battlemaster, aka Lothep, from 5 to 6 mana. This is a very big nerf, but I still think the card's very playable. The card is very strong, but you're going to have to be more selective about which decks you play it. Maybe you run one of my Warlock deck, if it's still around, might just run one of the Battlegrounds Battlemaster instead of two. This is to make it so it's not nearly as good as a 5/5 anymore. The stats didn't increase. They could have increased the stat line to a 6/6, but it's now an understated minion. But the effect is still very strong. But you're not gonna be able to go 4-drop into 5-drop. The consistency of the curve. This is incredibly hurtful for like Paladin, which wants to go double this. So with the Battlegrounds Battlemaster. So it's just not going to be able to pull it off as consistently. Just being able to wait against a Paladin until turn 5 till you have to clear their board instead of turn 4 makes a huge difference. Because now you have to well, what if they go Conviction, Battlemaster? Maybe I had a situation where they did the Cariel Rome, discounted their Conviction. I forgot about it. And then they went Battlegrounds Battlemaster and I got lethaled on 5 and I forgot about it. Whoopsies. Now I don't have to worry about that anymore because at least till turn 6. So it's going to be a little bit slower. It's weaker as a minion. It doesn't fit in your curve. 6 is a lot more awkward than 5. So yeah. So next we got Kobold Pack Runner going from a 2/3 to a 3/4. This just slows down the aggression of a hunter, which will make a big difference. There's one thing to note is as a 3/4, it's a lot harder to remove. There's a lot of 3 damage things. There's not a lot of 4 damage things. Think about Efficient Octobot, how hard it can be to kill it off without proccing it. So this isn't all disadvantage. It's slowing it down, but Hunter doesn't have many good proactive 3-short slots. It has Mankrik and Mankrik alone pretty much. I think Hunter might run the 2-mana 5/4 now again instead over the Wriggling Horse because it doesn't have a good turn 2 play anymore, where Nat before a Kobold Pack Runner was the premium turn 2 play. I still think this card's very strong. I think Face Hunter will be very solid. But it does slow it down. So decks have a better chance. You go off on turn 3, maybe you do Pack Runner, coin, Adorable Infestation. If they've got a powerful clear, maybe they can clear it, or maybe they take just less damage, and it's easier to stabilize and come back. Because Hunter kind of abandons board after turn 4 and just goes face. It doesn't. But with this, it's going to be a little bit slower. It's going to be harder to just spiral and just deny any other tempo. This comes off a little bit later, harder to get a lot of spells off. So a very reasonable nerf, I think. This is probably one of my favorite nerfs, where it's still a very strong card. It's still very playable, but it just slows it down. I think this is the kind of nerf I'd like to see more from Team 5. It's not killing the card. It's not objectively weaker. It's a 3-mana. There are going to be a few situations for your games where I actually prefer it as a 3-mana 3/4, where Battlegrounds Battlemaster is just objectively weaker. There's no advantage to being 6 mana instead of 5. So I think I like this nerf a lot. Next we got Granite Forgeborn. Battlecry, reduce your cost of your hands and decked by 1. This just makes the card a little bit weaker, a little bit easier to remove. It's a little less crazy tempo, because right now it's not an understanding minion that makes this. So there's a little bit more cost. And I think that's totally reasonable. This card is incredibly strong. Totally reasonable nerf to do. And it's still fine. It's still going to absolutely see play. Elemental Shaman is going to be good. Aggro Elemental Shaman is going to be good. It's a really good nerf, I think. Next, we got Conviction. This is going from 1 to 2 mana. You can see they show all the different iterations of the Conviction. But give 3 random friendly minions plus 3 attack. This card might be dead. And Paladin might be dead. This nerf is huge, just slowing it down. Now, certain situations where you're at the late game and you finally stick a board, it's not going to matter. But just being able to calculate it, the combination with Lotheb, the combination of just now, if I can play around lethal, before you could do maybe a Conviction play and develop tempo, a few more minions, but now it's a lot harder to do that. So you're kind of spending your hold a lot more of your turn on conviction. It's a lot harder to go, one drop into conviction in certain situations. So some of the low roll scenarios are really low roll now. So the high roll probably will still be there. The high roll, if you have a big board, you have a lot of mana, and you do conviction, but it might be hard to do multiple convictions. There's just a lot of things, and this card now, when you get it off the 1/1 is so bad. It's just a dead card for such a long time. This in Hand of Vidal have just gotten so much weaker. I think there's a very good chance Paladin is unplayable. Battlegrounds Battlemaster got nerfed, which hurts Paladin. Maybe it can go back to Secret Paladin, but even one of the big things that Paladin benefited from in the meta was Demon Hunter. It was one of the decks that actually crushes Demon Hunter. And guess what? It's not going to crush Demon Hunter anymore because Demon Hunter's dead. So it's a thing of, combined with this nerf and Demon Hunter, I think Paladin's going to be completely unplayable. Maybe I'm wrong. But just these nerfs are absolutely huge to the class. So Paladin, if you liked it, sorry. If you don't like it, good news, it's dead. So yeah. And next we got Flesh Giant from 8 to 9 mana. Cost 1 less for the next time. I think this is actually a pretty big nerf. It slows down where your Flesh Giants almost will never go down on turn 4. They can go down on turn 5. But it's you're going to have to do a lot more. You're going to have less of these fast Flesh Giants, but more of you kind of play control and then you just completely swing the board. And then in that scenario, Flesh Giant's going to be fine. It's going to be a bit late, but I think maybe the Zoolock style will really hurt because the Zoolock needs the Flesh Giants down quicker, where the control style, my self-mill style, I think will be fine. One of the things that people have already been running is the Knolls that are the 5/4 cost 1 less, and now I'm back to running the 8/6. The Anthrodon I went back and forth, but I think one of the realities is now that Flesh Giant's 9. I think the Zoolock, combined with the Dark Lair, the Zoo Quest of Warlock is dead. I don't think that's surviving. I think the 6 demon version is going to be just fine. I think my version is going to be just fine. Maybe a little adaptations in the list, but the overall core of those decks are both so strong that just coming down turn later, totally reasonable nerf. So anyways, yeah, I think Warlock is going to be just fine. But certain builds of Warlock are going to be dead. So yeah, that's my opinions on the nerfs. Some of you are probably happy. Some of you, if you hate certain classes, you're happy. If you like Demon Hunter, if you like Mage, if you like Paladin, sorry, you're out of luck. It is what it is. So it's the reality is people complain and people said these cards are broken, and Blizzard listened. And so if you like the nerfs, you're good, but that's the reality of the current Hearthstone system. So anyways, hope you found this interesting. And I might make another video where I recommend decks to play post nerf. But anyways, hope you guys like this, and yeah.